Okay.
Check now.
Hi. Welcome. I'm a couple of minutes late. We've been having some technical difficulties, but we're working that out. If you are here, then please let me know by saying hi. If you can see, I have a chat box. Hi. Okay, I think it's working. So underneath the screen, oh gee, I don't want to hear myself. Underneath the screen, I have a chat box, and it says chatwing.com/jumpstart for change. So you can just go in there and say hi. And I'm already logged in. I'm not sure if you have to log in. This is the first time I'm using it. But if you do, then go ahead and log in. Chatwing has been used on many, many other webinars, and it's definitely a trusted resource. And if you'd like to chat while I'm speaking and you want to see me, you can actually just press the little window on the top right-hand side of the screen, of the Chatwing screen on the pink side, the pink border. There's like a little, it looks like two little boxes on the right-hand corner. You can just press that and it pops it out, and you can move it on your page on the computer anywhere you like. If you're on a phone, you won't be able to do this. So sorry, you'll just have to keep the chat where it is. And that's it. So this is my first webinar using this program. I'm using Webinar Ally. And so if there's anything going on and you need to contact me, go ahead and chat, and I will try to work it out, and we'll figure it out. In the meantime, I haven't introduced myself because I just got started. So my name is Patricia Ribeiro Wolfson. My friends call me Trish, and my company is Jumpstart for Change. And welcome to 5 Steps to Increasing Your Patience. Yay! Okay, so we have a lot to cover today. I'm just giving a few moments for a couple other people to show up, and then I will be diving right into the material, and you can ask questions in the chat box as we go along, or you can just save your questions until the end. It's up to you. I'm good whichever way. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and you can see where we're going to begin. Okay, so I just wanted you to see me. Hi, get to know me a little bit, and I will share my keynote with you so you can follow along. All right, so bear with me while I do this screen share. Let's go. Where is that? Ah, yes. Hooray! Okay, so now please let me know in the chat if you guys can see what I'm sharing. Can you see what I'm sharing? Yes? Yes, you can see it. Awesome. Okay, so here we go. The Jumpstart Your Life workshop, 5 steps to increasing your patience. Okay, because we all want to increase our patience, right? Yes, yes we do, because we're moms, and I find, at least for me, the thing that kind of goes first in my day is my patience. But I just want you to know that it's primarily because we have a lot going on. I don't think you should feel guilty for not having patience all the time. I think that it's important that you give yourself a break. Here we go. Okay. I think it's important that you give yourself a break when you're dealing with yourself, because, you know, what happens is that we start to lose our patience. We're yelling at our kids or at our spouse, and then we get upset. We're upset with them, then we're upset with ourselves, and then we beat ourselves up because then we feel guilty. And that's part of what this workshop is about. It's eliminating that feeling. Okay, so here we go. So the objective of this workshop or webinar is to implement new strategies to improve your day-to-day, to give you a more confident and peaceful existence that will ultimately make you more patient, because I think that's something that all of us want. And hopefully by the end of this workshop, you will have 5 different steps that can be used separately or together to integrate into your life that will benefit everyone in your family. And that's a lot of what I'm going to talk about, is that as you take care of yourself, it spills over into your family. Because when you're feeling good, when you're taking care of yourself, your family is feeling good. So that's something I really, really want to drive home today, if nothing else, is that taking care of yourself is going to positively benefit your family. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, let's talk a little bit about me. So my name is, of course, Trish. That's what I will refer to myself as from now on, because it's just easier to say than Patricia Ribeiro Wolfson, which is very long. And some of you may know that I am Portuguese Canadian. I've been living in New York for 16 years now. It will be 17 in November, actually. And my background is in television, music, and media. Now, what I mean by that is, and you can see some of the pictures on this little keynote, is that, you know, I had this show called Uh-Oh in Toronto, or in Canada, which was kind of like, for the Americans watching, it's kind of like Slime Time 2000 meets Double Dare. Or is it Double Dare 2000? It's Slime Time meets Double Dare. Those two kind of shows put together. Anyway, it was really fun. It was one of the first really big shows that I was on, and it lasted for 6 years, and it was tremendous. I did do some Saturday Night Live, as you can see in those pictures. I was a singer. I have done a lot of stuff as a media host, performer, writer, editor, and I'm just kind of an all-around do everything kind of person. I really like to be very involved in the industry in every which way possible. And of course, here's a picture of me pregnant. Although that wasn't my first pregnancy, I think that was my third. I have 3 boys, one who's almost 8, almost 6, and a 3.5-year-old. And they are absolutely my reason for living right now. And once I became a mom, it became difficult to kind of go to auditions, and I started thinking, what do I want to do with my life? And the result was that what I really want to do with my life is help people. I want to sort of let people know that they can do what they want in their life, and specifically moms, because once I became a mom, I suddenly felt really lonely. And until I really reached out to other moms and started to build that community of friends who supported me through all that stuff that moms go through, you know, at the beginning stages of having a baby, through to, you know, every day, at every stage, you always kind of need the support, because each stage is different and kids are changing and evolving all the time. And there are obstacles and challenges at every stage. And of course, you know, becoming a mom to begin with, that first step, and being overwhelmed with, oh my goodness, this is like a whole new thing. That was really important for me to reach out. And that's really my whole purpose for doing this, is to get myself out there, build a community, and create that village that we don't really have anymore. And that's really my purpose for my company, and for what I want to do and how I want to help people. It's to build that village for women and mothers everywhere to turn to when they feel like they're just not enough. And I want to say, yes, you are. And I want all the other moms in my community to say, yes, you are enough. Yes, you're awesome. You're awesome, and we get you, we understand you. And I think that sense of community is super, super important. So I became a certified life and career coach. I have written for the Huffington Post. My articles are based on my life and motherhood, and I created an event called Camp Mom, which is happening for the first time this year, it's called Camp Mom. It's July 30th. It's happening in Long Island, New York, which is where I live. And it's very exciting. And if you're interested in finding out more about the camp, then please feel free to contact me. Like I said, it's July 30th, 2016. It's going to be an all-day event, and I will tell you more about it at the end. Okay, moving on. So what to expect today? So today, this is like a jump start. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna take a little drink of water. This is a jump start to becoming more patient, grateful, and forgiving parent. And I think that being more grateful, being forgiving of yourself and of things that happen in your life, increase the patience. So it's kind of all connected. So here are the 5 clear steps to making it happen. So we're going to start with gratitude. We're going to move on to forgiveness. Then we're going to talk about being present. Of course, the next step, focusing on you. Now, these aren't in any particular order as far as how you should apply them in your life. These are just the steps that I feel are important. And I also feel that you can work on any one of these steps individually. And if you do one of them at any time during the day, I think it will help you. And if you do them all, then you're really on a roll. So focus on you and setting goals. So setting goals are important. I think that's important for anyone, even if you're not talking about a business goal or a financial goal, but a goal of how you would like your life to be like. So we'll talk a lot more about that when we get to that step, but just think that that's really what I'm trying to focus on, is like, what is your vision for your family? What is your vision for your day? And how would you like to see yourself? And you can set a goal based on that and then slowly work towards that. And that's really big for me, is doing everything slowly at your own pace with forgiveness and time. All right, so here we go. Step one is gratitude. So gratitude. I know a lot of people talk about gratitude, and you see, keeping a gratitude journal and all that kind of stuff, and that's definitely included in this. But I just want to talk about how important gratitude is. And the reason that it's important is it's been scientifically proven to increase your happiness. When you express your gratitude, when you start to notice the great things in your life, then the gratitude builds, and also your observation of the good things in your life also grows. So one of the exercises that I've chosen, and most of these steps do have exercises, but they are very quick exercises. As you see here, set aside 10 minutes. And I know 10 minutes is difficult, but it's not impossible. If you have little babies, do it during a nap. Instead of tidying up, instead of doing the dishes, take just 10 minutes of that nap. Even if the baby's sleeping next to you or on top of you, you can do this. If you have older kids, keep something in the bathroom so that you can take those 10 minutes to yourself and just make a list of the things that you're grateful for in your life, and for that day in particular. So definitely, invest in a gratitude journal, or if you don't want to go out and purchase one, although I like to have like something specific for that, you can just put some paper together and staple it. You can, write it on a Post-it note, or you can even put it on your phone. Although I feel that the process of writing it out, where the pen hits the paper, there's something that happens with the connection of the pen and the paper to your brain that kind of wakes things up for you. So I feel that it's important to do a pen to paper journal. But if you can't, and the only way that you can do it is like while you're on while you're in the bathroom doing a quick note on your phone, then do that, because that's better than nothing. Doing any little bit that you can. If you can't take 10 minutes, take 5, take 2. Anything is better than nothing. So that's really what I want to focus on the most, is that anything is better than nothing. If you take 1 minute and all you can do is write one thing you're grateful for that day, then try to do more the next day if you can. But you're keeping it at the top of your mind so that you can start visualizing things and you can start recognizing things right away. And here's the thing, be specific. So I'm grateful for my house, okay, yes, we are all grateful to have a home, but be specific, and try to keep it like emotional things. I have one of the examples that I use in my course. It's if you're grateful for a space in your home in particular, and why, what is it that makes you grateful for that space? So for example, I'm really grateful that I have my desk right close to a very large bay window that is north facing, because the sun hits and it makes me feel energized. So that's a very specific thing for me. I happen to enjoy that the sun beams through from morning until sundown. And it keeps me feeling connected and energized. And even if I can't get outside as much as I want, I feel that sun beaming inside my home, and it feels warm and it feels awesome. Other things is, of course, everything that I do here and that I do in one of the courses that I'm developing is focusing on the kids. So if your kids are driving you crazy, try thinking about something specific that one of them has done that you're grateful for. So, for example, my oldest son, he is very challenging in the sense of, like, he's always challenging me. Like, whatever I say to him, he's always like, but mom, what about this? So it's difficult as a parent. It's difficult as a parent sometimes to be listening to that and to always get that rebellious spirit. But I'm grateful that he has that rebellious spirit. I'm grateful that he's assertive. I'm grateful that he challenges, because it means that he is going to have this amazing quality when he's older, and that definitely is going to benefit him. So if you have a challenging child, or a child who is very assertive or strong-willed, or whatever word you want to use, keep in mind that for his spirit, that is important. And as a parent, it might be difficult to deal with, but it's also something to embrace, because you want a strong-willed child, because he will not be stepped on. That he's not just going to listen to just anybody. He's going to have to resonate with whatever he's receiving, and whatever information, whatever guidance he's receiving, in order to do that. And I hope that works for him when he gets to the age where peer pressure becomes a problem. I hope he's going to be strong-willed enough to lead the pack and not follow the pack. That's my wish for him. But like I said, as a parent, it can be difficult, but that's something I'm grateful for. So when you're having a particularly difficult moment, that's a great time to think to yourself, okay, this kid is driving me crazy, but I am grateful he is healthy. And he can drive me crazy because he's a healthy kid. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And I have here as a bonus, express your gratitude to a family member. And why do I say that? Because when people like to hear that they're appreciated, people like it when you say to them, hey, I'm so grateful that you did that. And my kids really enjoy if I point out something that they did. And it's like, oh, honey, I'm so grateful that you helped your brother put together that puzzle. And I hope, when it does happen, I hope that inspires him to continue to help his brother, whether it's to put together a puzzle or to do something else, because then he feels appreciated, like the work that he did is being valued and validated by me. Now, we can get into a whole conversation about not wanting your kids to need that validation, but it's certainly nice to be appreciated, and that's not a bad thing. All right, so the next... that's gratitude. So unless anybody has any questions, whoa, I'm like all over the place here. Step 2. Unless anybody has any questions on gratitude, which it doesn't seem that anyone does, I think that's pretty straightforward. We're going to move on to forgiveness. Forgiveness is super important. And maybe I'll talk to you a little bit about forgiveness, because I just think that that's so huge. I think that we are very unforgiving as mothers. We are very, very unforgiving. We expect so much from ourselves, and we expect a lot from the people in our lives too. But we definitely expect a lot from ourselves, and we need to give ourselves a break. There's so much. Here, hold on. I'm going to stop because I really want to talk to you. Oh, I'm back to gratitude here. Hold on a second. Okay. Sorry, forgiveness. There we go. Sorry about that. Oh, I closed it and now you see it. All right. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to talk to you for a minute. Hi. Okay. You have to give yourself a break. And I say this with all my heart and soul attached to this. Every mom I talk to, I hear them all the time. And I do it myself too. It's not like I hear everybody do this and I don't do this myself. I absolutely do this too. I hear how tough they are on themselves. Oh, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I did whatever. You know, I yelled at my son today and I feel so horrible because I sent him off to school after yelling at him. Whatever it is that's going on your day, or dinner just totally stunk today. I blew that because I was running around doing all sorts of other things and I couldn't get what I wanted done. And we're always just taking on all the weight of the world on our shoulders. I know that you feel responsible for everybody in your life, and that's a really tough position to be in. And because of that pressure that you put on yourself, and because of the pressure of that responsibility, you are super tough on yourself because you want to be the best mom that you can be. You want to be the best mom. You want to be the best person. You want to be the best employee if you work for someone, because women are pleasers. Women are nurturers. Women want to be there for you. And when we fall short, and whether or not we fall short because we've actually fallen short, or it is our interpretation of falling short, or our expectations are so unbelievably high that we fall short of those expectations. Regardless of what precedes that feeling of incompetence, you need to forgive yourself. You need to give yourself a break. You're only human. You're only one person. And as one person, you have a lot on your plate to deal with. You know, if you have 1, 2, 3 or more kids, your husband or your spouse, someone who you're responsible for holding their heart. You're responsible for holding the hearts of all these people in your life, and you're responsible for, in most cases, for most moms, feeding them and cleaning up after them and taking care of them in every way that they need, because that's what we do. That's what you do on a daily basis. So if one little thing falls short, if the house is messy, if the dishes are not done, if you forgot to help your son with his homework, or in my case, what I did yesterday was I forgot to send my 3.5-year-old with his book of the day. He had book of the day. I forgot to send it. I felt horrible. And I called the teacher and I explained that I felt like an absolute buffoon. And she was like, it's okay. We've all done it. She's a mom too. She gets it. And that's the thing. When you start talking to other moms and you open up and say, oh, I totally messed up, it's like you're allowing them to mess up. And so here I am giving you permission to mess up, because we all do. We all, forget to send that thing for the bake sale. We all, and maybe you don't. And if you don't, awesome. Then I want to take notes and figure out how you've organized your life so that you don't miss out on anything. But chances are, if you're here and you're listening to how to increase your patience, that you're probably feeling stressed out and overwhelmed in some part of your life, and you're beating yourself up about it. You're beating yourself up about it. And this is what I want to stop for you and for me and for moms everywhere. I want to stop feeling like everything is our responsibility, and that we need to feel horrible if we miss something. That's okay. It's human. You're going to have amazing days, and you're going to have some days that aren't so amazing. But if you forgive yourself and just say, okay, I did it. I messed up. Let's just move on. I'm going to forgive myself, because you know what? I'm okay. I'm juggling a lot of things. And you need to feel that and feel upset or angry or frustrated, and then let it go through you. Let that feeling go through you and release it, and just be like, okay, on to the next thing. And, don't just keep playing that in your mind, and don't beat yourself up about it and say, well, see, I'm an idiot. because those things, those words that you say to yourself, your kids are listening to as well. And if you forgive yourself easily, you are going to empower your children to do the same for themselves. You know, if your kid comes home and says, you know, I messed up on that test, I didn't do as well as I could, and they're beating themselves up or beating themselves up, you may want them to do better, but you don't want them to feel horrible about themselves. You want them to feel good. And so you say, okay, you know, next time they'll study a little bit harder. You did your best. You know, it's okay. Let's move on. Let's study a little bit more next time. And that's what you can do with your own stuff too. It's like, I forgot about that book yesterday and I felt horrible, and I called the teacher and she said, you know what, send it tomorrow. So what did I do? Today, I posted a little note in front of the door, send Henry's book, to make sure that I wouldn't forget. So today was a new day, and I sent him off and he felt so good. And that was it. I solved it, and I felt horrible yesterday, but you know, I let myself feel horrible, and then I got over it and went right to the solution. How can I solve this? Okay, tomorrow I won't forget because I'm putting that note on the door. And maybe that's what I'll do every time he has a favorite day book or a favorite book day, is I'll put the note on the door. You learn from your, you learn from your mistakes and you move on. But if you're constantly beating yourself up about them, then you're not going to learn. You're not going to evolve. You're not going to grow. And that's super important that you do that. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to sharing the screen because I have a mantra for you. So, well, okay, before I go back to sharing the screen, let me tell you. One way, once you kind of deal with the situations that you need to deal with for the forgiveness aspect of your step, then sometimes a good thing to do is think about that event, let it go, and then just recite a mantra. And I like to pick mantras, and I will have an example for you of what my mantra or one of my mantras are, because I have different ones that, depending on my mood. And actually, if you follow me on my Facebook page, every Monday I post a new mommy mantra. So if you go to facebook.com/jumpstartforchange, you will see every Monday I post a new mantra about all sorts of topics. But this one is specific. This mantra that I'm going to show you is specific to forgiveness, and it's specific to trying to really take a moment to just let go of that anger you have for yourself and forgive yourself. And this is really about forgiveness of self, not forgiveness of other people, although I think that's an important thing to do as well. But in this particular step, for the sake of this webinar, we are just dealing with forgiveness of self. Okay, and the words that I've used for the mantra, you may have other ones that you'd like to use. Be really specific to you and what feels right. There's no right or wrong answer. You know, if you're going to recite a mantra or have an affirmation of sorts, you know, it really should be something that speaks to you. So when you see it, or when you say it, or when you read it, you just need to really register and resonate with it. And take a moment and feel what you're saying and believe it, you know, because if you don't believe it, then you're just kind of like, blah, blah, blah. No, I want you to take, again, 10 minutes, okay, or 5 minutes even, anything that you can. Take some time. And I don't have mantras. I have affirmations posted in my bathroom. And I just have like little Post-its. So whenever I go to the bathroom, which does happen several times a day, even if it's really quick, I look at the affirmations and I read them to myself, kind of, you know, out loud, but I make time to really stop and speak and say the affirmations and register them and feel them and believe them. And then I walk out. You know, because I don't necessarily have the 20 minutes to meditate every day, even though I hear that's what you're supposed to do or you should do. And I would like to incorporate that at some point, but that's just not what's happening for me right now. And so I take little steps, and I have my affirmations. I stick them on the window, on the mirror in the bathroom. And when I pass by there or I'm brushing my teeth for 2 minutes, I just look at the affirmations and I say them to myself, because I think that's a great way to incorporate that somehow into your day. And they work. Affirmations are amazing and powerful, as are mantras, which I kind of use interchangeably. For myself, I'm sure there's an actual difference, but for myself, I kind of use them interchangeably. Okay, so the mantra can be used with, and now I'm going to screen share with you again. The mantra can be used with, hello, there we go. This mantra can be used just the way I said, like if you want to put it up on a Post-it and stick it in on your bathroom window and just say it when you can. Or if you are familiar with tapping, which is something that I won't go into today, but tapping is a EFT, emotional freedom technique. It's a wonderful thing to incorporate if you're tapping, or if you meditate, and if you just want to kind of say this affirmation or this mantra over and over again while you meditate, if that's something you do. Or, while you're out doing exercise, if that's your thing, just kind of say this to yourself. So here's my mantra. Like I said, if this doesn't work for you, if it doesn't resonate for you, pick something else. It's just the idea of this that I want to impart on you. So here it is. Just take a moment to take a deep breath. So I just took a little sip of water. So I want you to take a deep breath, breathe in with your nose and out through your mouth. Again, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. And a third time. Make sure your feet are planted firmly on the ground, because it just connects you with the universe, with that universal energy. It makes you grounded, it sets you in your place while you say these things. And it sets an intention, like my intention is to do this right now and to really let this sink in for me. So I usually do 3 deep breaths because I kind of do everything in 3s. That's just my thing. So we did 2. Let's do 1 more. In through your nose. Out through your mouth. I forgive myself for my mistakes. I will learn and try again. I love myself unconditionally. Let's do that 1 more time. I forgive myself for my mistakes. I will learn and try again. I love myself unconditionally. And I want you to really think about that. I forgive myself for my mistakes. And even though on some level they're perceived mistakes, because I believe that everything does kind of happen for a reason, you need to forgive yourself for your perceived mistakes. Forgive yourself for those things that you did that you're not happy with. And the second part, I will learn and try again. So if you're not happy with something that you did, then you need to figure out why you did it, and how you're going to change it, if that's what you decided that you're going to do. If you're going to change it, and take steps to improve how that happened. So, when we're talking about patience, if you yelled at your children, it's okay. It happens, Maybe the next time you have an interaction with them, give them extra hugs and forgive yourself for yelling at them and apologize to them and say, hey, mommy's having a rough day, because we all have rough days. And the last part, I love myself unconditionally. And that's the most important thing. And the whole purpose for this entire webinar is that you love yourself no matter what. Accept who you are right now. And yes, if you want to make changes to improve your life, we all want to expand and evolve as parents, as people, but you still need to love and accept who you are right now. Okay, so are there any questions? No questions. Great. So let me know if you guys are having any trouble with anything, or if you have any questions. We will definitely, I'll definitely address them for you. Okay, so the next thing, I'm gonna take another sip of water while you take a look at this and see being present. All right. So being present. Sorry, we're just having. Being present is about being present in every moment. So how can you be present in every moment? Like, obviously you're present, you're physically there, but, you know, not going into the whole conversation about, you know, being on the phone, or being in the same room, which, you know, is a huge epidemic right now. And I don't necessarily just mean with parenting, but with people in general. That, you know, there's people who will be in the same room with you and people aren't talking, they're not looking at each other, their minds are in a million different places. And that, you know, if you find yourself, you know, on technology a lot, especially with your children, that's definitely something you might want to think about. Obviously, you're always going to, you know, you're always going to be, when you're on technology, you're going to be with your children. You know, you have phones, there's computers. I spend a lot of time on my computer. My computer's actually in the main room that we hang out in. So, and I work from there. So my kids see me working on the computer a lot. But, you know, make time specifically where that gets put away, where the technology gets put away. And then you are teaching them that there are times when you need to interact person to person. So, you know, of course, at dinner, nobody should have their phones on the table. And this is not me saying nobody should have their phones because I'm judging, because maybe you need to have it on the table. But think about those times and think about maybe carving out specific times where you are not using any technology and you are just connecting with the people in your life, whether it be your kids or your spouse or your friends. You know, I was out with a friend one day and she was on her phone the whole time. The whole time she kept getting little pings on her phone and she kept responding to it. And I don't know about you, but it really made me feel like I wasn't entertaining enough for her, or I wasn't interesting enough for her, that the phone, that what was happening on the phone, and it wasn't like, you know, she's got this very important job and she kept getting emails and, you know, she, you know, had to respond. It was just that every time the phone did a little ping or ding or whatever, she responded to it, as opposed to just being with me. And I think that that's important for the people in your life to know that you are with them for the time that you're with them, that they are your priority. And like I said, if you have the type of job that you kind of need to be on call, that's okay. And you explain that to them, but you still have to figure out how to carve some time to make sure that the people in your life know that they are valued and that they are important and that you have that one-on-one time with them. So before I go on with being present, I just wanted to show, like, there's a little flower. You might see that there's a little flower that I picked for this slide. And this is the white lotus flower. And so this color lotus, specifically the white lotus, symbolizes Bodhi, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct, which is being awakened. It represents a state of mental purity. Okay, and so I want you to think for yourself right now. I want you to take a moment and I want you to I want you to think of a moment that you remember in every detail. You know, maybe for moms, it's when your baby was born. You know, maybe it was your wedding day. Maybe it was a first date. Maybe it was something sad. You know, and that's okay too. If the first thing that comes to your mind is that's something sad happened, and that's what you remember the most. But I want you to think about it in detail and remember, what exactly do you remember? Do you remember the smells in the room? Do you remember the sounds? Do you remember the emotion? Was there anything that you remember, like the taste in your mouth? You know, maybe the first kiss. You know, but think about something that a really important moment in your life and how you remember every single detail. And that is probably a moment where you were truly present. You were truly present in that moment with that person. You know, I'm sure that most of our birthing stories is like you're present. I mean, if you're giving birth, you're not on your phone, you're not thinking of a million other things. You are in so much pain that you only have the choice to be present. And sorry, I'm pausing because my backdrop that I had put so beautifully behind me just fell down. So I have no backdrop, and I'm going to show it to you right now because because I think it's funny, and it sort of here. This is what just happened. Here's my backdrop that I had. Yay! Oh, see, for those of you who follow Leodie Dawson, I have her calendar here. All right, so now this is my backdrop. Just wanted to share that with you. See, things happen. Things happen in our day. You kind of get derailed. This was my derailment today. Not a bad derailment. As long as you can see me and hear me, I guess that that's all that matters. Okay, so this is me being present with the moment that's happening right now. So I'm a little embarrassed, but it's okay. I'll forgive myself. It's all good. All right, so back to sharing my screen. There we go. So the important part of being present is to make a mental note of everything around you, including the smell, sounds, and emotion. And the reason I'm stating that, and the reason I'm trying to, I'm having you imagine, you know, some important moment in your life that you are absolutely present, is that you will see how clearly you have that memory. You know, you didn't need a picture. And that's part of being present with your family, with your kids, is trying to make those clear memories for your future self. So you don't have to look at pictures to remember stuff, but you're like, oh yeah, do you remember how cute his hair was and how curly it was and those cute little cheeks and that baby smell, and taking in all those things. Like, I definitely make it a point now to look at my kids and try to soak in their faces, you know, and soak in how little they are still. And even, you know, my 8-year-old, I look at him and I'm like, oh my God, or my almost 8-year-old, he'll be 8 next month. And I look at him and I'm like, you used to be so tiny. I just wanted, and I know that, you know, when he's a teenager, I'm going to think that 8 was so tiny. And oh, sorry, we moved ahead there. I'm going to think that 8 was so tiny, and I want to remember every moment. And so I have here, oh, I did it again. Sorry. I'm going to stop this for a second and talk to you. So one of the things that you can do and how you can practice this is have a moment with whoever, with someone, with your kids. I mean, we'll say with the kids, and then tell your friend or your spouse about it later. So do this, try to do this today, because it'll be, you know, kind of in your mind. Hopefully you'll be thinking about it. I want you to just, during some moment you have, some moment with your kids, I want you to soak in the scenery. I want you to take everything in. I want you to feel what it feels like. I want you to really look at everything around you. What are they wearing? What does their hair look like? What do they smell like? You know, take in every tiny detail, using as many of your senses as possible, and with the intention to describe it later. Because if you have the intention to describe it later, then you're going to be much more accurate. You're going to be much more aware of everything happening at that time, because you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to remember this detail. Now, if you want, you can kind of give your spouse or your friend a heads up and say, I'm gonna do this like weird thing with you, and I'm gonna tell you like in detail what I did with my son or my daughter today. You know, just bear with me, it's an exercise, you know, and they'll probably go, okay, whatever, you know. But maybe you can tell them and tell them, challenge them to do the same thing. Why don't you have a moment with your, you know, spouse or with your child, and remember every little detail, and that moment, that's for you practicing being present. That's all it is. It's just for you to practice being present, and so that you can kind of remind yourself throughout the day to be present in those moments. And I know it's hard, I do a lot of multitasking throughout my day, as I'm sure you do. I'm cooking, I'm helping with the homework, I'm, on the phone, I'm doing all my stuff. But when I really take the time to be present, to validate my child's time and our time together, it really changes the dynamic of that moment. It changes the dynamic of our relationship, because kids know when they're not really on the top of your priority list. They know when you're not paying attention. And it happens with my kids. Like, I don't know, I think my middle son the other day said something to me, and I was like, oh, great. And he's like, you didn't really mean that. That wasn't great. And I was like, I'm sorry, honey. And I stopped what I was doing, and I kind of went down on his level, and I said, I'm sorry, Mommy wasn't listening. Can you please tell me again? What were you saying? And then he feels heard, and he feels listened to and validated. And so he told me whatever it was. I can't remember now. And I said, okay, see, maybe I wasn't that present after all. I don't remember what it was. But I did give him that time and give him the space for him to talk to me and feel like he was heard, and to feel like he was important at that moment. And that was important to him. And it's important to do that, especially when they're little. I don't know what stage or what age your kids are at, but I would definitely say that it's super important at any age. And sometimes when they're older, it becomes even more important, because, well, it's not more important at any stage. I think at every stage it's important, and it sets up a precedent for your relationship in the future, whatever the future is at that stage. So if they're babies, it sets the relationship up for when they're toddlers and beyond. And if they're, young, for their relationship even into adulthood, it's important for them to feel heard by you. That's one of the things that, they want from us. Kids want our attention, our validation, our time. That is the one thing they want from us more than anything, is our time. And if we, lose our patience and yell at them and all that kind of stuff during the day, but even if we take a few moments, even on that day we yelled, and we give them our time, that will count for a lot. And they'll remember that moment as well. They'll probably remember the yelling too, and, yell at us at another point in our lives and say, you used to yell at me. But, we're going to have to deal with that anyway. So at least make sure that they also have the other moments to, in their memory banks, which is, yeah, you did used to listen to me. Yeah, you did validate my concerns or my emotions or my stories. You did listen. That's important. Okay. So moving along, I'm moving along very slowly today. Okay. So now the next thing is focus on you. I'm going to share the screen again. I didn't share the screen there. All right. I'm going to share the screen right here. Okay. So focus on you. I've talked a lot about focusing on you and how it's important to take care of yourself. These are really important things. I think, to point out specifically in the self-care department. Getting sleep, eating healthy, and some type of movement. Now, I'm not going to say exercise, because people get all twitchy about exercise sometimes, because it just feels like that thing, I don't know, like exercise is this, gigantic dinosaur that, I don't know why I picked a dinosaur, but is this insurmountable mountain. I think that's more appropriate. An insurmountable mountain for us to climb. Like, oh, I have to go out and do exercise. But I think that movement, any movement, you can be dancing in your kitchen. That is movement. Movement is important. And movement outside is important. So sometimes when I'm waiting for the school bus, we'll, toss the ball around with the kids. Because any little bit of movement, if you're doing no movement at all, if you're not, going outside at all, if you do 5 minutes a day, that's already more. And then if that feels good to you, you're going to want to do more. And that's important. So getting sleep, making sure that you get enough sleep, eating healthy. Okay. We don't have to have a perfectly, this is not about weight loss. It's not about the perfect meal, but when making your choices for food, think, is this a healthy choice for me? Is this a healthy choice right now? Is this something that I, at least have parts of your meal that are healthy? Get those vegetables, get those nutrients that your body needs. And sleep, oh my goodness, I can't talk enough about sleep. Sleep is so important, and I'm actually someone who doesn't really sleep much, and I'm certainly working on it. Because I know I see the difference. I see the difference when I go to sleep and I get proper rest. I am much more patient. I am ready to face any obstacle because I am feeling good. My baseline when I wake up is well rested. And so if your baseline when you wake up is frazzled already because you haven't had enough sleep and you're exhausted, and of course, if you have a little baby and you're waking up for feedings, that's kind of impossible for you at this moment. But whenever you can take advantage of that sleep, you need to. It's super important. And here's another thing. Make a list of things that you would like to do, that make you happy if you had the time. And then you need to make that time. So, whatever it is that you like to do. If it's, oh my goodness, I keep doing that. Sorry, guys. I told you this is a new thing for me. All right. So whatever it is that you like to do, you want to go get a mani-pedi, then great, get a mani-pedi. You want to take a walk, awesome. Then you've got your movement covered and it's something that you want to do. You want to read a book, you want to go to the spa, you want to just, sit and drink some coffee in peace without anyone talking to you. Schedule that in like you would a doctor's appointment, like a dentist, like a whatever appointment, like a play date, like basketball, like swimming, whatever it is. You have to schedule it, and you have to have the people in your life get on board with that schedule. If you don't make yourself a priority, if you don't take the time to make yourself a priority and to schedule that time for yourself and make it very clear to your family, this is mommy time, then they are not going to create that time for you. They are not going to create that space for you. They are going to just go about their lives trying to continue to impose their needs on you because you are allowing them to do that. And that's okay. As a mom, that's our job, is to take care of the needs of our family. But it is most definitely your job as well to take care of your own needs and to make sure that your needs and desires and passions are being met. You need to go out with some friends. You need to connect with like-minded people. You need to feel like you are a part of something. You need to take the time to do what makes you happy, whether it's yoga or dance or a writing workshop, whatever it is that makes you happy. Take that time. Take a class. If it's not a class, take an hour or 10 minutes or whatever time you can spare at this point. Schedule it and say, from this time to this time, I am not available. Get a babysitter, ask your husband, ask your family. And if you don't have that, then you put that TV on if you have to, and you say to your kids, this is mommy time. Until this show ends, you guys stay here and I'm taking mommy time. And do what you need to do, because that is super, super important, okay? I just wanted to make that perfectly clear. All right, so now we're going to move on to the next thing. The next step is, oh, sorry, I'm way ahead of myself, but I'm going to share my screen again so you can see. The next step is actually making a goal for yourself. Hold on. Here we go, sharing the screen again. All right, so setting goals. So consider what will have the biggest impact on your life right now. All right, what is going to have the biggest impact? So if it's a health thing, like you feel like, oh, my health is really bad, I'm just not eating great stuff, I'm not sleeping, I feel like garbage, then make that the priority. Like, so if you feel like that working on your health is going to make the biggest impact, then do that first. If you feel like your relationship needs work, your relationship with your kids or your relationship with your husband, that needs to be addressed right away, and that is going to have the biggest impact on your life, then work on that. You choose. If it's finding a career, let's say all your kids are now at school and you decide that you want to, start working outside of the home, and that's going to bring you the joy and satisfaction that you feel like you've been missing. Well, then pick that. Pick just one thing. Don't do everything, because, it's like a New Year's resolution. When you do everything, or when you try to do everything, you end up doing nothing. Pick one thing and take tiny, tiny goals, okay? And you're going to make it a SMART goal. So here's the SMART goal breakdown: specific, measurable, appropriate, realistic, and time-bound or time-limited. All right, so how do you do this? Well, when you're making your goals, let's say health. Health is an easy one. I like to use that example a lot. So let's say you decided that you're going to deal with your health. That's the most important thing in your life. It's going to have the biggest impact. And what you need to do is, let's just go with weight, even though, that's so whatever, we all want to lose weight. So let's just do it that way because it's easy and it's easy to describe how it falls into this SMART goal. All right. So you don't just say, okay, I want to be healthier. You have to say, okay, how do you want to be healthier? What does that mean to you? So let's say you've decided that, well, what it means to me is that I'm going to lose weight. Okay, so how are you going to, so how much weight do you want to lose? You need to be specific. So let's say, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds. Okay, 20 pounds is specific. Now you need to make it measurable. Well, 20 pounds is measurable. You go from the weight you are now to 20 pounds lighter, measurable. Great, that fits. How about appropriate or attainable? So what is attainable is 20 pounds in, let's say, 6 months. That's attainable. If you pick 20 pounds in a week, not attainable. It's just not. And I mean, I don't think so. I don't know of anyone who's been able to do that, because if they figured out a way, I'm sure people would be on it. It's just not attainable. So you have to pick something that you can do. And realistic refers to you, your life, and your circumstances. So is it realistic for you to lose 20 pounds in 6 months? Can people do it? Yeah, people have done that. But is it realistic for you? Let's say you want to lose that weight, but you're not willing to do more exercise. You're not willing to change your diet. So then it becomes not realistic. So you have to figure out what works for you, and that's okay, whatever your decision is. So then say, okay, 5 pounds in 6 months. Make sure that your SMART goal applies to you so that you can achieve it, and make it small. Because if you make it a small goal, then you are much more likely to achieve it than if you make it something that is just not realistic for you. It's just be very aware of your circumstances, of your challenges. Know who you are, not who you want to be. Know who you are and accept who you are, and say, within my own personal limitations, this is what I'm willing to do, and this is what I know I can do. And I'm going to do it, and keep it simple, 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 simple. And of course, time limited, which, by saying 6 months, that's your time limit. For you to say, I want to lose 20 pounds and just leave it kind of up in the air, then there's no limit. You can, you're always working at it without really working for it. But if you say in 6 months, then there's a beginning, there's an end, and you can work towards it in small increments. All right. And that's the best way to start. Achieving your goals is make them. And I'm going to show you again, in case you want to take notes of this specific chart. Okay, so specific, measurable, appropriate, realistic, and time bound, time limited. I like to say time limited, but I found this cool graphic, so I kept it here. Time limited goals. And if you have any questions, or if you need any help with this, please feel free to contact me. I would be glad to help you come up with, if you have a goal that you have in mind, I would be very happy to help you turn it into a SMART goal. So you can reach out to me, Patricia at jumpstartforchange.com. And you can reach out to me and say, hey, this is my goal. Or actually go to my, you can go to my Facebook page. As I said before, facebook.com/jumpstartforchange, and send me a private message and say, hey, I have this goal. I need to make it a SMART goal. Beautiful. All right. And then after, I'm sorry, I've got to take a glass, drink of water. Once you've made your goal a SMART goal, what's the first step? So let's go back to the health one. Your first step is what? Your first step is the exact first step that you're going to take. So if it's a health, what are you going to do? You're going to move more, or work on what you're eating. That's your decision. Let's say you decide, I'm going to work on what I'm eating first. Okay, so then pick something that you're going to add to your meals or subtract. I want to add more vegetables, or I want to substitute like my French fries for sweet potatoes, or sweet potato fries even. one small thing and then give yourself time to accomplish that goal. And that action step. And then once you've done that, let's say you've added sweet potato fries instead, it's like, okay, yeah, that's a little healthier. Now maybe remove the fries and do the next step, or keep the sweet potato fries, but instead of a hamburger with cheese, leave out the cheese. I don't know. I'm not a health coach. You pick what's best for you. You decide what choices that you're willing to make and take small steps to achieving those goals. Also, I want to just touch on something that's a little harder to measure, which is like a relationship, for example. So let's say you want to work on your relationship and you think, how do you measure that? Well, you give it a number from 1 to 10. So let's say your relationship right now is with your spouse. You go from 1 to 10, 1 being it's really bad and it's not looking good for the future, and number 10 being he's perfect, we're awesome. Okay, so let's say you're at a 6, maybe a 5. So then you decide, okay, I want to go from a 6 to an 8 in the next 6 months. And you have to think, is that attainable for you? 6 months from a 6 to an 8, is that attainable? Sure. Is that realistic for you and where you're at in your relationship with the challenges that you guys are going through? That's what you need to decide, and then you need to take you need to take your first step. And your first step may be speaking to your husband about, or your spouse about taking that step and saying, hey, I want to try to fix things. Are you in this with me? Or maybe it's making an appointment to see a family counselor, or maybe it's something else. Maybe it's like, I'm going to start doing one nice thing a week. I'm going to start, saying one nice thing to my husband every day and just see what happens. You decide what your step is and how you're going to take those steps. Once you pick that step and you do it, then you follow through with your step and pick your next step. And you do this in small increments, and you continue to do this until you've reached your goal. I know this kind of sounds really simple, and it is in the sense of, the steps you take are simple, but the implementation of these steps and the things that happen along the way, the blocks that we impose on ourselves to achieving those steps will definitely be obstacles, but you can do this. And if you keep your steps really small, I mean, really tiny steps. I mean, if you want to start running, okay, but you've never run a day in your life, start by putting on your running shoes and then going outside and taking a 5-minute walk. 5 minutes. Start with 5. I know that's like, God, what? Like, why is that even worth it? No, start small, because you need to do something that is totally doable. So it's like, if I say to you, you should start running, like you don't go like, okay, I'm going to go run a 5K. No, start with literally putting your running shoes on and taking like a walk up and down your block. That's it for 5 minutes, maybe 2. I don't care. I don't care where you start. Just make sure that it's totally achievable. Because if you are able to go outside and walk for 2 minutes, you might walk for more. Or you'll at least accomplish those 2 minutes and you'll be like, hey, I did it. I did a 2-minute walk today. And do not beat yourself up about how simple it was. You should build yourself up and say, God, that was easy. I'm ready for the next step. But don't go from 2 minutes then to 20. Small increments of anything that you're doing will guarantee your success. Okay? That's what I want you to do. So those are our 5 steps. That's it. Our 5 steps are, gratitude, forgiveness, being present, focusing on you, and setting your goals. And I'll show you the little screen I have for that. But what I want to say about these steps in particular is that you can do any one of them at any time. You can implement these actions, and it will work for you. It will improve your day in some way. And if you do all of them, or the more you do of them on the same day, even better. Or in the same week, small steps. If you want to just start with gratitude and just implementing that more into your life, then great. If you want to start with just the forgiveness aspect, take these steps the same way that I explain the SMART goals, which is start small. Start small and reach out for support, because that support is super important to getting your momentum to do the rest, because that's what you need. Is you need to feel confident about taking those steps. You need to succeed, and you need to get that momentum, because the more you do it and the more you see how it affects your children and your family, the more you'll want to do, and your patience will absolutely increase. I see it when I'm doing my steps and I'm really taking note of being forgiving to myself, and really being grateful, and expressing my gratitude. And when I'm taking care of myself, I have amazing days, and I really they're almost peaceful, and I really don't yell, and the kids are so responsive, and they want to help, and they contribute much more to what's going on in the house, because I'm happy and I'm peaceful. And I will even say to them, I'm having a really great day, guys. Thank you so much for contributing to this wonderful day. Would you guys mind just, cleaning up the living room while I set up the table? I could really, that would be awesome. And they're like, yeah, sure, because they don't want to see me turn into mean mommy. They don't want to see me lose my business. They want to see me happy. And just as we are nurturers and pleasers, our children are pleasers too. They really do. They want to please you because they want that validation from us. So if you're reaching out with love and gratitude and forgiveness, they're going to respond positively to that. And your relationship will benefit too. I absolutely guarantee it. It's just the way it works. It's how the universe works. You put out awesome stuff, and awesome stuff comes back to you. Okay, so let's just do a little quick recap. And I know we've gone over our time, and I'm super, super grateful for the time you've taken to be with me today. This has been really fun. And I hope, I haven't seen, nobody's had any questions, so which is fine. But if you're just being shy because nobody's asking questions, then please feel free to contact me at any point. Like I said, my email is patricia@jumpstartforchange.com. And, feel free to go to my Facebook page and like it, facebook.com/jumpstartforchange. Yeah, I would be glad to help you on your journey of increasing your patience. So we're just going to summarize a little bit the action steps that we discussed. So here we go. So the summary, 5 steps to increasing your patience. So the first one, gratitude. So start a gratitude journal, or, something on your phone if you have to, and just take 10 minutes to talk about how grateful you are about the things in your life, the blessings in your life on that day. You can do this in the morning. You can do this at night. You can do this, it doesn't matter when you do it, but the more that you do it, the more you will be looking out for those things to be grateful for, and you're going to see how suddenly more awesome things start happening to you. It's just one of the laws of gratitude and one of the laws of the universe. So I definitely recommend that that step to somehow in your week, if you don't want to do it every day, but if you can fit it at some point in your week, if you want to do like, a Sunday gratitude day or something, and just a day of reflection, if you can't do it every day, do it as much as you can. The second step is forgiveness. So I gave you that little mantra. Take 10 minutes out of your day, 5 to 10 minutes. Just take 3 deep breaths and write something down that resonates with you. And that is you forgiving yourself for having a rough time, or forgiving yourself for anything that you feel is still weighing on your conscience. Maybe it's not even something that happened that day. Maybe it's something you did years ago, or as a kid, or, there's things that you need to deal with in your life to move past. And you should forgive yourself for whatever it is that is looming in your life, because until you do that and you let go of that, you are blocking yourself from moving on and from all the wonderful blessings that can come to you and your family. So it's really important to forgive. Let go of that anger. You don't need it. Let go of that, being stressed out and that pressure. Let go of that pressure that you put on yourself to be perfect. No one's perfect, okay? So just don't even bother trying because no one's perfect. I don't care what you think or what it looks like, you know, because we don't know what's going on inside people's minds and in their hearts. So yes, forgive yourself. The third thing is being present. And so the action step for being present is to make a list of all the things that you would like to do if you have time to do them. So, you know, all the things that are just for you. No, this is not like I want to take my kids to the park. No, this is for you alone. You know, what makes you happy? Is it reading? Is it writing? Is it, you know, having a dance party by yourself? Is it, you know, going out and going to the spa, having a mani-pedi, going shopping with friends, just having a coffee with a friend? You know, that's still for you, even though someone else is involved. But, you know, do stuff for yourself. And then I want you to schedule it and actually physically put it in your calendar and make those people in your life aware that you are doing this for yourself. That is also super important because you need the support of the people in your life. If you do not put yourself first, no one else will do that for you. So you need to be responsible for making sure that everyone in your life values that time that you spend with yourself and for yourself. And the fifth step is setting goals. And also, this does not take a lot of time. You know, it's 5 to 10 minutes. You know, maybe it'll take longer if you're not sure of what goal you want to set right now. But think of the thing that's going to have the most impact in your life and turn it into a SMART goal. That is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time limited. And then pick your first step. Whatever the very first thing, it could be a phone call, it could be research, it could be, you know, one tiny, tiny step to get you in the direction that you want to go. And then once you've done that step and accomplished that step, then you take the next one. Okay, so before we wrap up, I want to quickly tell you, because I mentioned at the beginning about Camp Mom. Yay! All right, so Camp Mom is an event that I created because I worked at this camp called Driftwood Day Camp, and you may or may not know it. It is in Long Island, specifically in Melville, New York. And it's a wonderful camp. It's like 11,000 square feet of awesomeness. And it's a day camp for kids. And I approached the owner of the camp and told him I would really like to use this camp for one day just for moms to have a really good time, just to have fun. And he was on board. He thought it was great. And we partnered up for it. The tickets are $175, but for the first 50 moms who register, I send you a coupon for $25 off, so you can get it for $150. And I'm telling you this because I think it's important for you to know that the workshops alone would cost $300 separately. I mean, you know, they would cost, like, altogether just for the workshops, it would be about $300. But I have some great workshops. I'm going to, here we go. Here, just jot down the information, jumpstartforchange.com/campmom. Oops. Yes, that's my thank you to you. And if you get on the email list now, you will get your coupon. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about the camp before we wrap up. And I promise we're wrapping up like right now. So what I'm going to tell you about the camp is that we have 3 amazing workshops. There's a parenting workshop. That's one on basically anger management for parents. There is a workshop on mindfulness and stress relief. So really, mindfulness is you know, sort of the buzzword that's being used for being present. So learning how to be mindful. And there's a wonderful presenter that's got these. She just won an award for like second best yoga meditation studio in New York, which is awesome. And the third workshop is also a wonderful workshop about self-care and finding your happiness every day. And that workshop is being held or being hosted by my own life coach who lives in San Diego. And she is coming here for the event. And she has sold out workshops, sold out courses about how to live your best life. She is amazing. You're going to love her. So that's the 3 workshops we're going to have. Aside from that, you're going to have great food all day. So we're serving breakfast and lunch and snacks and making sure everybody is going to be hydrated and, you know, fed throughout the day. We're going to have some awesome games. So we're going to have like classic camp activities, you know, icebreakers so people get to know each other. I don't know which games yet, but I have a whole bunch that I want to do. So I just need to basically choose from them. And we're going to be doing activities. So one of the activities that I'm really excited about is we're going to have trapeze. So for all you daredevil moms, and for those of you who like that sort of thing, the trapeze will be there. And for those of you who are kind of nervous about doing something like that, we are going to have lots of other activities that you can do instead of the trapeze. And we're going to have like bouncy houses. So in, you know, inflatables for adults so that we can go on them and jump on them and have a great time. And you know, there's going to be awesome swag bags at the end. So you'll get some cool stuff to take home with you. And we're going to have arts and crafts. So it's really going to be a full day of fun, a full day of camp. It's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., July 30th, 2015. I really recommend that you sign up now to take advantage of that $25 off. And I know it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a chance for you to meet some other moms and to really bond with each other. I'm so excited about this day because when I worked at Driftwood last year, I was looking around and I thought, everybody's singing and dancing and cheering and so much fun. And I was like, I'd love to do this. And then I thought, well, if I would love to do this, maybe other moms would love to do this. And I think that we just don't give ourselves enough time to have fun. And I think it's so important because when I worked at the camp, every day I came home feeling great and I had much more patience. I had much more energy, even though I was exhausted, but I had like this emotional energy that I could deal with things a lot better. And I would come home and still had to do all the stuff that, you know, I did as a stay-at-home mom, which is wash the, you know, dishes and make dinner and wash the laundry. But I still had so much energy because I didn't spend the day being drained. I spent the day being filled with awesomeness and excitement. And I was physically exhausted, but up here I was like buzzing. I was like, this is so much fun. And that's what I want for you. And that's what I want for this day. So I hope that you join us and you can participate. Camp Mom, it's going to be awesome. So if there's anything that you have any questions about, whether it's Camp Mom, whether it's how to make your SMART goal, whether it's how to take what I've told you about these steps and implement them in your life, please feel free to reach out to me, Patricia at jumpstartforchange.com, or go on my Facebook page, which is Jumpstart for Change. And I would be happy to answer any of your questions. And I really, really, really hope to see you at camp. All right. Thank you so much for taking your time to be with me. I will leave you with a thank you. And I hope you have a peaceful, patient, and productive day with your kids. Thank you so much. I'm going to put the thank you screen up now. Hold on. Hold on. There it is. Okay. Here's that camp. Oh, wait. Yeah, I'll put the Camp Mom information up first. So if anyone did not have a chance to jot it down, here it is again. The Camp Mom information. If you want to sign up, please feel free to do that as soon as you can. And that's it. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Bye-bye.